Tic-Tac-Toe Tariff is a classroom activity that lets students experience gains from trade, explore the impact of tariffs, and discover who bears the cost of the tariff. For this activity, you will need at least 6 Dum Dum lollipops per student. Buy more than you will need because mystery flavors can't be used for this activity. Before class, remove any mystery flavor Dum Dums from the bag and sort the lollipops into small bags, each with 3 Dum Dums. Prepare 2 bags per student. You will also need Post-it notes for half of the students, 30 Tic-Tac-Toe Tariff cards, a stamp or special colored pen to use as your custom stamp, 1 Dum Dum flavor ranking handout per student, and 1 trading record per student. Arrange your classroom so students can move around relatively easily, and prepare an open space in front of the classroom where you can collect and stamp the Tic-Tac-Toe Tariff cards. Give each student a copy of Handout 1, the Dum Dum flavor ranking, and ask them to rank each of the Dum Dum flavors listed from their favorite, number 16, down to their least favorite, number 1. While this may seem backward to students, it's important to go from 16 to 1 as they will be using their rank as a representation of value, so high numbers are better than low numbers. While students are ranking the flavors, geographically divide the room in half, like left and right, or front and back. Give half of the students in the room a Post-it note to wear as a badge. The badge identifies them as citizens of country X. Have them write a large X on their badge and place the badge on their shirt. The other half of the students are from country O. Give each of them 1 Tic-Tac-Toe Tariff card to begin with. Give every student a copy of Handout 2, the trading record, and instruct them to fold the paper down the middle and only use the left side for round 1. Give each student 1 bag of Dum Dum lollipops. We're going to call this their basket of lollipops for the game. Have them write their flavors in their basket at the top of their trading record and then use their values from their flavor ranking to determine the value of the basket that they've been given. The little bag of lollipops that you were given is your basket 1 of lollipops. And I want you to write the 3 flavors that you were given and put them right here on these lines, okay? So if you had a cream soda, cherry, and a pineapple, you would write those 3 flavors here. And then from the other side, you're going to copy over the value from your flavor ranking. So if cherry was a 2 for you, you would write cherry and a number 2. Maybe cotton candy was your favorite, so cotton candy and a 16. So take the 3 that you have in your basket, write them out, copy the rankings from the other side, the 1 through 16s, and then come up with a total value for all of the basket, okay? Walk through the rules and objectives for round 1 and show an example of how they will calculate their basket, record a trade, and play tic-tac-toe during round 1. All right, here's the rules for this activity. The Dum Dums, as I said, they do belong to you, and you do get to keep them at the end of the game. But for now, don't unwrap or eat them. You are free to trade with people in your own country, okay? Easy as that. You can trade with people in your own country, and when you do make a trade with people in your own country, you're going to record it on your trading record. So the trading record, the next section down on your sheet that you folded in half, looks like this. So if you make a trade, if Ben and Jackson trade, and Ben had cotton candy and Jackson had pineapple, Ben would say he gave up cotton candy and he got pineapple. Okay? So they would mark that if they made a trade. People from country X can trade with people from country O, and vice versa. You can also trade with people from the other country. However, in order to do that, you have to pay a tariff. A tariff is a tax. It's a tax on imports. So because you're going to do an international trade, you have to pay a tax. And the tax is a game, a completed game of tic-tac-toe. So this is the tic-tac-toe board that you would use. You would play the game of tic-tac-toe, okay? And you play it with the person that you want to trade with, okay? So if you want to do an international trade, you have to pay the tax, a game of tic-tac-toe. Here are the rules for that exchange in that game. The citizen of country O must provide the tic-tac-toe card, the board for the game. The citizen from country X always makes the first move, right? X goes first. When you play the game on this board, you'll play tic-tac-toe. Once there is a winner and a loser, the winner will sign here, and the loser will sign here. And then you will bring the completed tic-tac-toe board up to me here in the center of the room, where I will stamp it with my official custom stamp, approving the transaction. You've paid the tariff, and then the two of you may exchange your lollipops. And in the same way, you would record the exchange. I gave up a cherry, I got blue raspberry. And it was an international trade, so you would mark the little international trade box. Questions?
So if we want to make multiple trades, then you need multiple.
If you want to make another international trade and you've already used that card, just come to me and I will give you a new one. In the event that there is a tie, just get in line to exchange the tic-tac-toe game for a clean sheet so that the two of you can play again until there is no longer a tie. Okay? Any questions so far? What is your goal? To get a more valuable basket than you started with, okay? The market's open. Start round 1 and allow the round to run for 5 to 7 minutes or long enough for most students to have traded 2 or 3 times. What do you think, Mia? Go see if you can get a more valuable basket. This from country up. All right, we have a winner. Okay, and you both signed it. There you go.
Actually, I'll take a sour apple.
Stop the round and give students time to calculate the value of their current basket of lollipops. What I want you to do now is come up with the value of your new basket. Write down the 3 flavors you ended with, pull the value rankings from the other side, and come up with the total value for your basket after trade. Have the students work in groups collectively to add up their basket values before and after trade, as well as how many trades they participated in and how many of those trades were international trades.
What was your final value?
Collect the numbers from each group to come up with a total for the whole class. Okay, I'm going to start with country X. So in the front row, do you guys have your number before trade? How much before trade? 161 before. Okay, how much did you have after trade? Display this using Visual 1 or even a spreadsheet, as I've done here. Be sure to divide the number of trades and international trades by 2 because each trade was counted and reported by both people engaged in that trade. So raise your hand if you gained. Oh, look at that, okay? Remember, trading creates wealth. So debrief the round. Ask questions to find out who gained, who traded, whether or not they participated in any international trades. Find a student who did both an international trade and a domestic trade and ask them how they were different. It took longer, right? Because you had to play the game. International trades took more time. They had a higher cost. Ask the student what the cost was, what they would have done with the time if they weren't playing tic-tac-toe. The cost was other trades they couldn't pursue in that time. Find out if any students traded internationally but didn't pay the tariff, or maybe they paid the tariff but they bent the rules, or quickly threw a game of tic-tac-toe to get it over with. Point out that this is predictable. The tariff is a cost, and they have an incentive to lower the transaction costs involved with paying the tariff. Congratulate the students on their gains and explain that they're going to do another round. But first, they must put all their dum-dums from round 1 away. Okay, so what I want you to do is take those 3 lollipops, put them in their bag, and put it away. Put them in your pocket, in your
It's important that the dum-dums from round 1 are out of the game and not used for trading in round 2. Randomly distribute 3 more lollipops to each student. Once again, have them calculate their basket values before trade.
Write down your new basket. Calculate the value of your new basket, total it up.
Introduce the new rules. This time, they're free to trade with anyone, in any country. No tic-tac-toe tariff is required.
This time, you do not have to pay a tariff to do that trade. You don't have to stop and play the game of tic-tac-toe, okay? But I'm still going to ask that you continue to track if it was an international trade or not. So pay attention. Do they have a pink sticky note? That's how you know they're from country X. So if it's an international trade, you're still going to record that, but you do not have to pay the tariff, the tic-tac-toe game. Any questions? Everybody ready? Okay, go get a better basket.
Begin round 2. Walk around observing transactions and reminding students to mark them as international if they're trading with someone from the other country.
Mark if those are international trades.
Let the round run until trading slows down. Announce 1 final minute to complete trades and end the round. After the round, have students work with their same groups to collectively add up their basket values before and after trade and report them for the whole class.
Back row.
Before trade, we're 137.
137.
Yes.
After.
After, we were 239.
Number of trades.
19.
International.
8.
Debrief the final round by asking students to share their observations about how round 2 was different than round 1.
More change in general, and you could feel that, you could sense that when you were trading? Okay, how else?
There will likely be more trades, greater increases in basket values, and more international trades.
Okay, so he said in the first round, they stayed there first and looked and see who you could trade with in your own country, and then you ventured out. In the second round, you're saying people went over here right away. Everybody started mingling, okay? I noticed that as well. So, did the tariff eliminate international trade?
Use the debriefing questions in the lesson outline to highlight these key points. The tariff reduces the number of trades, but it doesn't eliminate it. People will still trade if the benefit is worth the cost, including the cost of the tariff. Ask the students who benefits from the tariff. This might be hard for them to identify. Help them see that the actual participants in the trade don't benefit. The government that collects the tariff benefits from the tariff revenue, but producers in the domestic country can also benefit, as people in their own country will be more likely to trade with them when international trades are more costly. The tariff keeps some of the competition out. Ask students who is hurt by the tariff. It might not be obvious, but help students see that people who would have traded had the tariff not made it too costly are hurt by the tariff. Those trades just don't happen. Ask the students who paid the tariff.
Who paid the tariff?
They will probably report that country O paid the tariff. After all, the tariff was imposed on them, and they had to pay it directly. Clarify by asking who bore the cost of the tariff.
Agree, Rui? Did they pay the tariff? She said both of us paid the tariff. We both had to play the game, and we both had to come up to get the card stamped to do the trade. True?
Even though citizens from country O had to pay the tariff, both parties bore the cost. They both had to take the time to play the game and get the trade approved by the customs official, time they could have been trading with other people. Close by emphasizing the following points. In the real world, tariffs are paid with money, not games of tic-tac-toe, but the burden of the tariff is shared in the same way. Tariffs are a tax. They raise the price of the good, and at higher prices, consumers buy less. So domestic consumers bear some of the burden of the tariff in the form of a higher price, while foreign producers bear some of the burden of the tariff in the form of lost revenues. The burden of the tariff is borne by the parties in each country that participate in the trade. While domestic producers benefit because the tariff limits the competition they face, it would be incorrect to say the tariff is good for everyone in the country. Tariffs benefit domestic producers at the expense of domestic consumers.